So here's a question for you. Can a piece of software, an AI, actually coach you into becoming a better writer? It sounds a little like science fiction, right? Well, today we're going to break down a fascinating study that puts that exact idea to the test.
I think we've all been there. You spend hours, maybe even days, pouring your heart into an essay. You turn it in, and then you just wait. A week later, you get it back, and there are, a few red marks in the margins? It's a pretty universal experience, and honestly, a big frustration in learning how to write well.
And see, that's the core of the problem, isn't it? To get good at pretty much any skill, playing guitar, shooting hoops, writing, you need this really tight loop of practice and immediate feedback. But let's be real, in a classroom with 30 other students, one teacher just can't be everywhere at once, giving everyone that instant feedback they need.
But what if you could change that? What if you had a personal writing coach on call 24/7, ready to give you pointers the second you finish a paragraph? Well, that's exactly where AI comes into the picture. And this isn't some far-off idea. It's happening in classrooms right now.
It's all about tackling that one fundamental challenge, what we call the writing feedback problem.
So that leads us to the big question. Can an AI really step into the shoes of a coach? I mean, what does that actually look like? Well, the tech behind all of this is something called automated writing evaluation, or AWE for short. And chances are you've already used it. Think about tools like Grammarly. It's basically AI that uses natural language processing to scan your writing in real time and give you instant suggestions on everything from grammar and style to even the structure of your sentences.
Okay, so we have the technology, but the real question is, does it actually work in a real school with real students? Well, that's exactly what a recent study set out to discover.
So here's the setup. Researchers Ekizolu and Demir got a group of 60 high school students in Turkey who are all learning English. They designed an 8-week experiment and randomly split the students right down the middle into 2 groups.
Now, this is where it gets really interesting. Both groups wrote an essay every single week. The first group, the control group, did things the old-fashioned way. They got written comments back from their teacher about a week later. But the other group, the experimental group, had a 2-step process. First, they used an AI tool, Grammarly in this case, to get instant feedback on the basics. Then, their teacher stepped in to give them feedback on the big picture stuff, like their arguments and creativity.
So here's how the whole 8-week study played out. Week 1, everybody wrote an essay to get a baseline score, to see where they were starting from. For the next 6 weeks, they stuck to their group's feedback plan. And then, in the final week, everyone wrote one last essay so the researchers could measure who improved the most.
All right, 8 weeks are up. The study is done. This brings us to the part we've all been waiting for. What actually happened?
The test was fair, the timeline was set. So who do you think came out ahead? The students with just the human teacher, or the ones with that human plus AI coaching team?
Okay, the data here is, wow, it's incredibly clear. Take a look at the pre-test scores. Both groups started in almost the exact same spot, right around 25 points. But fast forward 8 weeks to the post-test, and the group that used AI jumped all the way up to almost 33 points. The teacher-only group, they ended up at 28.6.
And this chart just makes it impossible to ignore. The AI group improved by an average of 7.1 points. Now, the control group also improved by 3.4 points, which, hey, that shows that good old-fashioned teaching definitely works. But the AI group's improvement was more than double. That's not just a small difference. That is a huge, statistically significant result.
So you might be wondering, where exactly did that massive improvement come from? Well, the researchers dug into that, and it turns out the AI group made their biggest gains in 2 key areas. First, language use, so we're talking grammar and vocabulary, and second, organization, how well their writing flows and makes sense.
And it wasn't just about the test scores. The students themselves really felt the impact. One of them put it perfectly, saying that using the AI felt like having a helpful coach or a personal tutor that was there for them anytime, day or night.
The survey numbers totally back that up. A whopping 90% of the students who used the AI felt it improved their writing. And just as important, 87% said it made them feel more confident. And maybe the biggest endorsement of all, 80% said they wanted to keep using it. So, what is the big takeaway from all this? Is the lesson here that robots are just better teachers? No, not at all. The real story is about using these tools to work smarter, not to just find an easy shortcut.
If you remember one thing from this whole study, let it be this. This is not a story about replacement. It's a story about partnership. The AI isn't the new teacher. It's an incredibly powerful new tool for both the teacher and the student to use together.
And here's how that partnership works so well. Step 1. The AI handles all the nitty-gritty, repetitive stuff like grammar and spelling checks. Step 2. This clears up mental space for the student so they can stop worrying about commas and start focusing on their actual ideas. And Step 3. This frees up the teacher's valuable time so they can focus on coaching the uniquely human skills, creativity, strong arguments, and critical thinking.
So why does all this matter for the future? Well, it means we might finally be able to give every single student immediate, personalized feedback, even in huge classes. It means students can learn and revise on their own time at their own speed. But, and this part is absolutely crucial, the teacher is still the essential guide who helps students learn how to use these powerful tools wisely.
And that kind of leaves us with a really provocative final thought. Maybe we've been asking the wrong question all along. Maybe it's not about AI replacing teachers. Maybe the real question is whether teachers who use AI are going to replace the ones who don't.